Hello and welcome to my channel. This weekend it's gonna get a little hot. We are participating in the 72 hours the Smut Den. This started approximately 2 hours ago. I want to say, yeah, 2 hours ago. Cassidy is hosting sprints with all of the co-hosts. I will leave everybody linked down in the description below. But I had FOMO. I was seeing on the Bookstagram, everyone was posting their first spins. Of course, I had to as well. So I've already done my first spin. I spun the dark wheel for, the kickoff. And I, of course, ended up with a prompt, one-word title, which wasn't the most convenient because the book that I had chosen for this is also the book that could have fit many other, prompts on the wheel. But for one-word title, we're starting easy. We're easing in to the smut. We're reading Belladonna. Yeah, okay. Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I have started this. I'm 13% in. I have my pre-order stuff. I'm obsessed with this copy. I pre-ordered this from Amazon when it came out. And this is what the first print run from non-Barnes & Noble sellers had. And it's gorgeous. I'm proper obsessed. I have very high hopes for this. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, but I've started the audiobook. I'm enjoying it. I'm not feeling a whole lot just yet, but it's still very early on. It has set up the love triangle. It has set up our main character, Signa. Yeah? I'm great at names. Don't you even worry. Yeah, Signa. So it sets off with Signa, who is basically having a series of unfortunate events type of upbringing where every caregiver just, dies often, and she's just being bounced around to different caretakers. She's just started her newest one. There's this boy Silas, who is the stable master, who is the other love interest, and we've already met good old Death. The whole Death thing is what really intrigues me. This is not smut. There is steam. But that's kind of all that I know for that. I'm assuming it won't be for a very long time. But it's easing into the readathon. So I am intrigued to continue. This is going to take me another 5 hours to read. It's a YA, so it's the easiest I could have started with. Because the rest of the TBR is, for the most part, not so, calm, chill. I don't know how I'm going to talk about all of these things, but I have my physical TBR and then I have my Kindle Unlimited TBR because I'm a Kindle Unlimited girly now. So I have two more chill books. I've got the Atlas 6 and I've got the Rose and Dagger. Yes, the Rose and Dagger. This is a sequel. This is a fantasy, very light on Steam. I wouldn't say they're at all smutty, at least not the published edition. We will see. If the wheel has it, I will read these as tame in-betweens because I just want to get to them desperately. But then on my TBR, I also have some actual smutty books. We've got Fourth Wing, which I will be reading this weekend. I cannot go any longer. I can't do it. And Haunting Adeline, this is the first book in the Cat and Mouse duet. I have started this. I am 50 pages into it. I made Eliza read this unintentionally. So we're having a great old time. Eliza wants to read this as well as some of my Kindle books. I want to get to Serpent and the Wings of Night for sure this weekend as well, because we're kind of spontaneously buddy reading that this weekend, I think. So I definitely want to get on top of that. It is chunkier, but I do have the Audible exclusive audiobook, so that is great. Stealing Amazon Prime credits is always a good time. And then I have other Kindle Unlimited books that I really want to get to. The TBR is too big. It is not possible. The spinner is going to decide my fate. But I also would love to get to the Sinner and the Scholar, the Mindfuck series maybe. I might start it at least. That time I got Drunk and Saved a Human. I'm upset that the title is so similar to the first book, but it just came out 2 days ago, so I bought the Kindle book So if I can get to that, that would be great. I love the Mead Mishap series. And I also have on the TBR Get in My Swamp, which is the Shrek smut. I've corrupted a lot of people with this. I didn't mean to influence, but there might be a lot of people reading this. Who knows? But I'm gonna try as well. I might need to get drunk for it though. We'll see. And then I'm also, if the fates allow it, hoping to read Karina Hawley's, I can never remember her last name. I'm a fake fan. Karina Hall's newest book. I think it's Karina Hawley. Anyway, her newest book, A Ship of Bone and Teeth, which is like a words. I'm getting too excited. Little Mermaid retelling, smutty, standalone, fantasy, romance. Yes, those are all of the hopefuls. We will see what I'm actually able to accomplish, but I am finishing up a booktube video, and then I'm going to continue reading on with this. The thing is, I'm watching the kickoff sprints, and as we all know with sprinting, it's so easy to just chat. It's so hard to like stop talking to the chat and the people that you're sprinting with to like focus on a book. So there's been a lot of chatting and hanging out, and they've been spinning a wheel for the sprints, and they've been very short, but I am hoping to make significant progress, if not finish this today. That is my goal. If I don't finish tonight, I will probably just finish up the audiobook tomorrow morning, and then I will move on to the next thing. But we will cross the bridge when we get there. First, we are going to continue with this. Yes, I love the cover. All right, goodbye. Hello, it's another day. I have confessions, and I have things to update you on. So, as for Belladonna last night, Donna, I can never get it right. Anyway, as for this last night, I didn't pick it up. I've been such, like, I'm obsessed with, specifically, Sam and Colby's channel when they have guest stars Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo. I'm obsessed right now with watching ghost hunting shows on YouTube. These are like the first ones that I'm like, oh hell yeah. Like, that's spooky stuff. That's weird. That's unexplainable. Another channel that I do love but doesn't post quite as frequent is Glam and Gore. Has been doing like a haunted series. Oh, it's been so good. I'm obsessed. Anyway, I didn't read any last night, so I will be switching to this at some point, because listen, I was at work today and I was in Michelle's sprints to start the Friday off, and I was reading a different book, no smut, no romance at all. And once I finished that, I was like, okay, I can start this on my TBR, or I can start this, or maybe this. But then I had FOMO. I get really bad FOMO, hence most of this TBR. And they were talking about The Never King, not necessarily in a positive way. I know Rye likes it, but Cassidy doesn't like it. Bree doesn't really like it. I don't think the other two have read it. I don't think Mel liked it either. But like Riley likes it. Steph likes it. Like a lot of people, it's very polar. Lots of people like or dislike. So I started The Never King at work, and I read it on my phone Kindle app, as well as listen to the audiobook on Scrib at work. Oh my god, there's a giant spider. Oh, I don't like that. Anyway, so I read the first book in its entirety. What a time. This is a fantasy romance. No, I did not spin the wheel for this, by the way, but this is a fantasy retelling of Peter Pan with dark reverse harem romance. Mostly smut, but I think it's good. There is like, from like a reader standpoint, from like a fantasy, especially reader standpoint, there is continuity issues. It's not super consistent with the characters. There is very little world building. It does rely heavily on like you knowing Peter Pan and the story. Even like the live action Peter Pan movie. I love that movie though so much. So there's like a lot of things that go into it. The world building is not great. The magic system has not been explained, but it's very short and it's mostly smut. And so like it kind of just, it does what it needs to do. It figures itself out. It works. I don't know why it worked for me, but it's working for me. I've already started the second one, the dark one. I don't know. I don't know how do people review smut? I need to know. I don't know what I'm doing. Plot-wise, so-so. Writing-wise, so-so. I love the references to Peter Pan. I'm a big Peter Pan fan, especially retellings, not sure why. So it just worked for me. I liked our main character, Winnie. I don't like her name. It doesn't suit her, but I like her as a character. She is so confident in herself and her habits with men. I respect it. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm going to continue reading because I'm actually having a great time. There's 4 books in the series, but I only have access to 3 of the audiobooks. I know after all of this is said and done, I'm going to be so mad at myself for wasting my Scrib, like, credits or whatever on these books because they're very short. But I'm having a great time. I love Peter Pan's narrator. I love Winnie's narrator. Cass and Bash, they're like so-so narrators. I don't dislike them, but when they start speaking for other characters, I'm like, stop. But I love Cass and Bash so much. I like Peter Pan too. And I like Vane. I like them all. Cass is probably my favorite though. A little sweet little cinnamon roll with the dominant side. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm so uncomfortable. Oh, but I should mention, I do have caffeine. I don't know how late sprints are gonna go, but last night went decently long. I ended up tapping out before Cassidy finished her book. So the way that they talk about it sounds like we could be going late. So fingers crossed. If not, the 24-hour readathon over with MelLenoreReads channel, that is also happening tonight and tomorrow. She's got sprints today and then tomorrow morning. It's not like a stay up the whole night requirement type of thing, so I doubt that I'll do that. But I do want to stay up kind of late because my whole plan for today is to read tonight, edit one video tomorrow, and then read all day. It's going to be great. Sunday, I've got like house stuff to do, like we're spring cleaning because we're getting ready for exciting stuff. And so I'll be listening to audiobooks and reading while I spring clean. It's gonna be great. And then Monday, I'm extending to also continue reading. I'm so excited. I'm hoping to really bang out as much as I humanly can. A lot of these are rather large though, so I'm trying to be like realistic, but also like, I can't help it. I just want to read everything. So that's the update. Now I'm gonna go. Okay, so I'm 60% into the second one now. I know that I need to spin the wheel because honestly, as much as I will be reading this and I'm excited for it, it just doesn't really fit like a smut den because it is more just steamy and it's more fantasy and YA. So I might hold off on that until like maybe Monday, but I'm 60% in and the smut is good, I will say. I really enjoy that, but this book kind of lacks in the world building more than the first one, which is surprising. But I really enjoy some of it, but it kind of feels a little bit lackluster and just like thrown together. I don't know. But these men are real close, and honestly, it's something. I don't know if I'm like weirded by it or if I'm into it. I don't know what's going on, but it's like, okay, you're brothers, it's fine. I'm not judging. But yeah, so it's been interesting. Plot wise, like nothing has really been happening. Which I felt like in the first one, even though it was a lot of smut, like there was enough plot and like puzzle pieces to figure out that I was like, okay, there's still something to string me along. Whereas this one is just like backdoor scheming, but it doesn't feel like it matters. The big plot line is like getting Peter Pan's shadow back. And yet like we're dealing with the Fae princes and their storyline, even though technically the Fae Prince books are like the fourth one, so I don't know. But I'm gonna keep reading. I'll probably finish it. We have a 45 sprint now, so I'll probably finish this during the sprint, and then I will either continue or I'll probably spin. I'm gonna try and spin, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I did spin, and I got one word title again, and I was like, okay, I can't tell if the spinner wheel is being cruel or if it really wants me to read Belladonna. I'm not sure, but I will probably spin again. Oh my god. I finished. Well, I just finished the dark one. That last 40% all plot. No smut, all plot. And I'm here for it. It's a very nice, like, mix, a balance. It's a good balance of fantasy, plot, and good smut. But it's a very easy read. Like, you can just keep going. You don't want to stop. It really pulls you in, and you kind of just keep reading. And they're so short, too, that it's just, like, it just keeps happening, and you don't want to look away. It's wonderful. It's so easy to fall into, like, the suspension of disbelief. Is that the right way to say that? I think I'm really tired as well. Suspend my disbelief. The more I say it and think about it, the worse it's gonna get. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is that, I've finished. I liked the plot. It went places. I thought it was good. So now I have up next, I really, 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 really want to finish and jump into the third one, which is Our Vicious Darling. Because what happened at the end, I'm reeling. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, part of me wants to spin the wheel because, you know, like, that's the fun. But the other part of me doesn't want to spin the wheel because I just want to keep reading this. Okay. I'm gonna spin the dark wheel. I'll be back. Black cover, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to read Their Vicious Darling, the third book in the Vicious Lost Boys series. I can't believe I'm doing this. So I have the audiobook for the third one, and then we'll go from there. This one is the longest so far out of the three, and it starts with the quote, Wendy, one girl is more use than 20 boys. I like that it's taking quotes from the actual Peter Pan book. Marvelous. I'm sure the author would be so proud of all of the retellings that Peter Pan has sparked. Oh boy. Anywho, I'm gonna get to reading. There's 37 minutes left of the sprint. I'm sure I can get pretty far. So, I'm excited to see more of this crocodile man. And that's his nickname. It's not quite that weird, but anywho, I'm gonna get to reading. Good morning, good morning. I am a little bit tired, but I'm thriving already. So this morning, it's now 11 a.m. It looks darker than it actually is. It's 11 in the morning. I woke up about 8. The first sprint, I like showered and just kind of got ready for the day. Second sprint, edited and uploaded my video. Let's go. And so now I am simply just reading all day long. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's so great. I have no plans except for sitting in this chair and that chair, maybe bed, and just reading nonstop. Oh, what a wonderful day. So I am continuing in Their Vicious Darling. I am 45% in. I'm on page 103 out of 244. It is going swimmingly. I'm actually enjoying this one probably the most so far. There is the underlying plot that the boys are going to eventually, I'm sure, figure out, but there's kind of just like we, the reader, know stuff that our characters don't, and so we're just kind of like waiting for the ball to drop for that. But I've really been enjoying there's been less back and forth on POVs, which has kind of been helpful, although they have introduced a new one, which is Rock, which is Vane's brother. But I'm enjoying, like, them settling into this new lifestyle of, like, Darling and the boys and just, like, having her around. And yes, there's still the plot line, which I'm sure will be very present in the last 40%, but right now it's just, like, going to buy shoes in the town and getting, like, food at the tavern and just like simple living. I don't know. I love it though. I'm thriving right now. This one has been less steamy as well, which I think maybe is why I'm preferring it, just because I'm not like a big smut reader, and so I'm definitely like here for the plot, here for the vibes, the atmosphere, the world building, if you will. I'm enjoying the world building a lot more now. So I am very excited. I did buy, with my hard-earned cash, the 4th audiobook, because I will be finishing these. I don't know if the Fae Princess is the last one in the series or if there's going to be more. I didn't see anything, but I know that the Fae Princess, like, just came out. But I did buy the early access audiobook. So I will be finishing these 4, which is a great feeling. But yes, that's what's going on with me. I'm going to continue reading, and then when I finish, I will wrap it up and spin and pray to get the Fae Princess on the next one. I'm not sure which wheel I want to spin today. I feel like the light wheel, I have better opportunities to get the books that I want, but I'm scared that the Fae Princess won't fit anything on the light wheel, but I don't want to get stuck on the dark wheel and then have to, like, read different things that weren't on the agenda, you know? So I don't know yet. We will problem solve that later, though. Right now we are just going to keep reading. I 100% ship the crocodile and Hook. I'm just putting it out there. Alrighty. And on to the next. So during the, like, chatty bits, I spun the light wheel. I've decided for today, Saturday, I will be spinning only the light wheel, but I probably won't be reading light romance. I do know that's the point. I'm not really a light romance girly, so I'll probably still be sticking to my darker stuff, but you know, it's close enough. It's the prompts. It doesn't matter. But I finished the 3rd one, and it was very plot heavy. The action scenes I actually rather enjoy. Are they necessarily good? Who am I to judge? But I'm having a great time. So I spun the light wheel. I got 3+ words in the title. So I went with the Fae Prince because that's 3 or more, you know? So we're going with the Fae Princes. I'm very excited. I've just started. The prologue is already unhinged. Tinkerbell, what a time. I'm having a great time. I was telling Austin about what I was reading, and I was like, yeah, it's like a Peter Pan retelling. There's just, like, smut and stuff. And he's like, does that not ruin Peter Pan for you? Like, are you not scarred forever now? And I'm like, no. So, I'm more desensitized than I think I am. But anywho, that's what I am reading. That's how it's going. I'm having a grand time. I'll check with the blah blah blah. Yeah. See you later. Well, I've done it. I've finished the series, read all 4 of those in like a little bit over 24 hours. Whew. What a time. I really liked that it wrapped up. I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to wrap up by the end and that there was going to be, like, an announcement for a 5th book or whatever, but I'm happy with where it ended and, like, the setup for, like, the spin-off, if you want to call it that. You know how I was talking earlier about shipping Hook and the crocodile? Yeah, well, the spin-off, Devourer of Men, is exactly that. It's gonna be a male-male female romance with Wendy Darling, the crocodile, and Captain Hook. So I'm intrigued. It's gonna come out later this year. There's no, like, official date or anything, but I've read an entire series in 4 books for this readathon, which feels wild. Speaking of wild, wow, great segue, Sam. I spun the wheel again, and I landed on, can you guess it? Wild. So with that said, I'm going to pick up The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I'm buddy reading this with Eliza, Daphne, and Melody. Eliza's already halfway through, so I've got catching up to do. But I'm gonna start that now. I have the audiobook through Audible and then the Kindle Unlimited ebook, so I will be tag teaming it to speed up the process and get it done. I know very little going into it. I know that it is romance and fantasy, and I know there's vampires, and I know everybody loves it and says that the writing is really good, but there's only like one steamy scene, I think, so it's gonna be mostly just fantasy. So I'm hoping that I can focus enough and have a good time, but I will check in once I've gotten started and kind of have more of a idea of what's going on. I am 37 pages in. There's a competition, which I'm very excited for because that's something I normally like in books, and I'm hoping to read more like that and that it's good. I am getting tired, and this is a much more big brain kind of fantasy romance, mainly because like there is no romance for a while, but yeah, it's a much bigger brain because there's world building and so on and so forth. But so far we know that our main character is a vampire hunter who was raised by vampires. She's been trained by him forever, and so like that's all I really know. She's gonna be in this competition that happens like once every 300 years, and I think she'll be the only human, so high stakes. That'll be fun. But yeah, the world building's been fun so far. Her relationship with Ilma or whatever, that's been cool. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it goes, but I will be taking a reading break for a little bit. So until then, see you later. Good morning, good morning. I'm awake. I'm a very annoying dog. Good morning. I'm sleepy. I will be continuing today with the Serpent and the Wings of Night. Anyway, I will be finishing that today. It's gonna take me about 6 hours or so, but I'm planning to spring clean the living room specifically today because we're doing it one room at a time. So I'm gonna be like polishing the floor and like weird cleaning things like that today. So the audiobook is going to help a lot in that sense, but I still want to try and read as many physical pages as I can. And then as for like the rest of the TBR, Smut Den does technically end today, but I'm likely to continue it through tomorrow because I want to read many a books. But these are the 2 for Smut Den specifically that I really want to get to. This is an additional 12 hours of reading if I like read nonstop, which, whew, talk about some time. But I definitely want to get to this one because I know it's going to be steamy. So it's very much in honor of the Smut Den, similar to the Vicious Lost Boys or whatever series that I just finished. So this is like definite Smut Den material. But I do know that there is smut in Fourth Wing, or like steam at least. It's not too much. This is YA, I believe. But I just really want to read this. Everyone says that there are crack in the pages that makes it so good, even though like objectively they say it's not the best book. It's just that good. So I'm very excited, very intrigued. Serpent, I got 40 or so pages in last night, but then I was watching a live show for something else that went on for like 6 hours, and so after that I had dinner and went to sleep. So I still have many of hours to go. I'm 7% into this book, so that's going really good, but I am excited to continue. I'm excited for more like vampire vibes, and I'm excited to see what this competition is all about. I know that this gets compared often to ACOTAR, which no, I have not read, but I've seen many spoilers for it at this point. I will read it eventually, but I get enough of the gist. So I'm wondering, like, if the competition is going to be better than what I've heard. We'll see. But that's going to be it. I will check in later. Hello. It is the final day of the Smut Den for me personally. It did technically end yesterday. I barely touched a book yesterday. I kind of needed a break from reading just because I was doing it so much on Saturday. Like, that was all I did Saturday, was just binge books. So yesterday I kind of took a break from reading, and today I am back on my reading grind. I've read 100 pages of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which will probably be the last official book for this weekend's Smut Den. And so I'm 100 pages in. I'm enjoying it. It's nothing special yet. I enjoy that I quickly found the love interest, and it's cool. It's whatever. I like the motives. I like our badass main character, who's pretty smart and well trained, but like not invincible. And I'm enjoying the competition, even though it's like just started. I like that it's like in moon phases and stuff. Like, it sounds very cool. I like this moon palace or wherever they're staying. It's cool. I'm enjoying the vibes. I don't care a lot about our main character. The first like death happened to someone our character cared about, and I genuinely was like, so move on, get over it, because there wasn't enough of a connection built there for me to care, and it happened so soon that I was like, okay, sucks to suck, I guess. Sucks to die. So yeah, I haven't like built a true relationship with her yet, but I have the old audiobook from Audible, and oh my god, it is not the most fun because I have it at 3.5 speed right now, which is incredibly fast for me. She talks so slow, she takes such long pauses, and I'm like, okay, we're speeding this up. So, in theory, I will finish it in 4 hours. But last night, I didn't want to read, like, a full book right before bed. So I ended up picking up something short and small that I saw on Instagram for Pride Month. It was, like, read, indie self-published authors that are also in the queer space. And so I picked up Monster Mirror on My Wall. I don't remember who this is by. I'm almost halfway, and I've never quite picked up something like this before. Now, I've read a lot of smut this weekend especially, and that is one thing. This one's not doing it. I don't like the smut scenes. I don't like these monsters that she's sleeping with in her dreams that she's been friends with since she was a literal child. I'm really just here for like the plot, which is interesting enough. It seems very like Alice in Wonderland seeing as like her name is Alice and the cat's name is Dinah instead of Diamond, and there's like a magic mirror that is shimmering, but we don't really know what it's about yet. But the monsters, I can't do it. I can't picture things, and I don't want to. And I'm not enjoying that part. It's a bit much for me and my, like, little prude brain. I don't like it a whole lot, but whatever. It's fine. I'm gonna finish that because it's very short. It's like 86 pages in total. It's on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm gonna finish that, and then I'm gonna finish Serpent, and then we're gonna wrap this video up. It's great. What a great day. Okay, so I just finished Mirror Monster on My Wall, and I have like a lot of thoughts and yet no thoughts at all. So the premise of this is that we are following our main character Alice, who is, I believe, 25 in the story, and is forcibly being wed to another abuser. So her stepmom is incredibly horrid and is marrying her to a man who has the title Lord but has no money. So for Alice's dowry from her stepmother, is agreeing to this marriage even though he is abusive and has been harassing her and bullying her most of their lives, like since they were kids. So he agrees to marry her, and he's just horrid. They're terrible. You don't feel bad. You don't like them. And basically it's just a story of her having to complete this ritual so that her monsters can come to her realm in actuality, and then she can leave with them through the mirror, similar to Alice in the Looking Glass. And so I really enjoyed like the baseline plot of her having to complete this ritual and going through these just awful things. Our protagonist, Alice, as well as the author, is autistic and a person of color, as well as so queer in the best way. I love it. But also our author is disabled and has chronic illness and is fat and has like all of the representation that should be in books and media because it's so real and honest. So I really appreciated reading from an own voice perspective, although I can't say sensitivity wise where this book would land if everybody would agree with it or be comfortable with it. I'm not really sure, but one of the monsters is deaf, so there's just like a lot of representation, which I did also appreciate. The smut scenes were not personally for me. There was about 3 packed into the story. They went on way longer than I needed them to, but that is just completely personal preference. Like I'm not a monster smut girly. Like that's not something that I've gotten into or read. So it's just not for me. But the overall storyline and the plot and the ending, I actually enjoyed. So I'm giving it a 3 at the end. The smut, I could have done without. But I was able to skim it and it wasn't like a big deal. It was a very short story. I think if it was anything longer than 86 pages, I probably would have a hard time finishing it. But because it was shorter, it was fine. But yes, I did read that on a weird whim. Representation was good. Plot was good, even though it wasn't like great and it wasn't very fleshed out, but it was enough for me to enjoy the story for what it was, and I'm glad to be supporting small self-published authors, especially in the queer space. I've made it to part 4, which is page 203. So I'm 200 pages in. 38%. I've got like 3 hours to go. 2 hours and 45 minutes. I wish there were more of the trials. There's been 2 tests in the trial so far, and they're very quick, they're very short. There's a lot of action happening, but it happens so fast in comparison to like the rest of the story, and I don't care about our main character that much. I do like Rain. He is interesting and I do enjoy their banter, but it's not enough for me to really care about like the many in between scenes. I do like a training scene, but there has not been enough of training scenes, so it's just been very flip-floppy. Like, it's a very quick, compulsive read. Like, it's very easy to just keep going, and I'll think about, like, putting it down to do something, but I don't want to. Like, I just keep reading, which is great. But it's also just, like, can something more happen? I know it's 200 pages in. Plenty has happened, but like, I just don't care. Like, she could lose, and I'll be like, okay. Like, her motivations, although make some sense, they're not clear enough for me. And so I don't understand like why she's in this competition and like why it matters to her, besides like her goal of doing it for Vincent because he's a father figure to her, which makes sense, but it's not enough to be like, yeah, I'll risk my life to become a vampire. Like, why? But those are my halfway, not quite halfway, 200 pages in. Those are my thoughts. I will continue. It is 6:30 and I need to finish this book so I can edit this video so it goes up tomorrow. Hello, I did it. I finished. I've completed The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I read the whole thing, all 523 pages or whatever it is. I did that. It was way better than Daughter of No Worlds. If you didn't know, I hated Daughter of No Worlds. That was one of my least favorite books of this year. I gave it 1 star. It's my only 1 star of this year. So, to say I was a little nervous going in to another Carissa Broadbent is an understatement. But 260 pages in, I was really starting to enjoy it. I was really liking the trial and seeing this relationship blossom and like what it was becoming. And I really like the small subtleties of like, at first she's rooming with these vampires while she's human and she understands the risk of her safety that is. So she's sleeping with the curtains open so that if they came into her room they'd get burned by the sunlight, and a chair under her door so that they can't get in while she's sleeping, and all these things. And I liked seeing that slowly get torn down and just like her barrier coming down. Like, I thought that was really well done. I enjoyed the trial and what was going on with that. I enjoyed the politics that I wasn't really expecting. I'm just gonna say there. Okay. I actually liked where it went and all of the things that happened. Nothing was necessarily like a shock or a big twist. Everything was a little bit expected. Oh, you can lay that down though. Everything was a little bit expected, but I thought it was still well done and like the motivations made sense. I would say that our main character is a little dumb. I'm not gonna lie. That final choice made was so dumb. Like, why did you do that? You could have phrased it so much better, but whatever. Yeah, I overall I liked the motivations. I liked where it went. I did actually tear up when the death towards the end happened. I think I was projecting maybe a little bit of my own insecurities, but I did end up tearing up a little bit for that. So that says a lot. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was 7s all across the board on Compile. So that's it. That's the vlog. This was my sort of 72 hours in the smut den. I went from Friday afternoon at work, from like 2 p.m. Friday until 10 p.m. Monday. All of my reading. I barely did any on Sunday, but I still did enough, so it's fine. I ended up reading, let's do the math. I did actually read another book that wasn't in this video. It's going to be in a separate reading vlog, but I actually did read all of Orange, the first volume, compendium volume. So in total for the Smut Den hours, I also technically read Whisper Deadline, but that's also a different video. But for this video, I read all of the Vicious Lost Boys, Monster Mirror on My Wall, and Serpent and the Wings of Night, plus 2 others that aren't in this video, which is so wild to me. Pages read, not including Orange, 1,480 pages, including Orange, 2,003 pages. I think that's the most I've ever read in a period of time. That's truly like more than I've read all year. In April, I read 2,053 pages in total. And in the last 4 days, I read almost 50 pages less than I had read in the entire month of April. Apparently, I am a dark fantasy romance girly. I have set aside books for the next Smut Den that I want to get to. I might do this again on my own if it's not Smut Den in November. I think November might be like horror stuff, so I'm not sure. But if it's a Smut Den in November, I've got a TBR set aside. I've got things that I'm interested in. I had a lot of fun with these, and they all turned out to be like very highly rated, which is incredible. I've had a great reading weekend. Oh my god. I've had such a great time. It's been so much fun. I'm so appreciative of this little readathon. It was so fun constantly being in live shows as well, just like watching and hanging out with everybody as we're all like reading these books. It was an incredible time. I'm so thankful. I'm so glad. So that wraps up this entire video. Thank you for watching and hanging out. Thank you to the host again for hosting. It was incredible. I had a great time. Yeah, this was amazing. What a great way to end the month of May. Oh, final thing. I'm going to try and read Belladonna tomorrow at work. I'm going to finish this. So I will probably put in the comments once I finish like a little wrap up just so that you know, because I was initially planning to read this. So that I will also do. And then as for the other two books that I hope to get to but was not able to, which was Fourth Wing and Haunting Adeline, I will be reading these this weekend. Mark my words. Off me if I don't. So that is it for this video. Thank you again so much for watching and hanging out with me. And I will see you guys so soon in my next video. Bye!